In Climate Watch, former Vice President Al Gore launched a new voter registration campaign last week. The former Democratic presidential nominee is touring the country in an effort to appeal to young people who he says are focused on the ongoing climate crisis. Gore says that his first step to helping the environment is getting enough people to vote President Trump out of office. Joining us now is Ken Berlin. He's the CEO of the Climate Reality Action Fund, a nonprofit organization founded by Al Gore. He's also a former climate change attorney. Ken, tell us a little bit more about your group, the Climate Reality Action Fund. What's your strategy?
The Climate Reality Action Fund is working to increase voter turnout in this election, concentrating on turnout on college campuses. We're very excited about the fact that this is an election where climate change is becoming a critical issue, and it's a critical issue to young people and to college students. So we're working on college campuses. We're sending organizers into those campuses. We have lots of supporters on those campuses. We've worked on campuses, and our goal is to increase the turnout of college students. In 2016, less than 50% of college students voted in the election. We think climate change is an issue that's exciting. It's the primary issue that in polls for young people, and we think it will motivate young people to come out and vote.
And you think that voter registration is the way to really do that? I know that you have a big push towards a voter registration campaign rather than any other type of advocacy?
Well, we think all advocacy is important, but we think it's critically important that this election turn out to elect people who support action on climate change. And to do that, people have to vote. And so we think that voter registration and also then getting out the vote, which is a critical part of our work, are really critical for that to occur. And again, we need to be successful, a much larger turnout among college students than we had in 2016. And our goal is to help ensure that happens.
So your organization has gone on the record saying that the message of your campaign is that in order to avoid future climate disasters, you believe that you have to get President Trump out of office. Critics have accused you of politicizing climate change. How do you respond?
Well, we're not politicizing climate change, and our voter registration efforts on college campuses are going to be nonpartisan. We think climate change is an issue that should be of concern to Democrats and Republicans. We're backing people who support action on climate change, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, essentially, and we'll certainly register people whether they're Democrats or Republicans. So we think it's important to have people who support very strong action on climate change, and to get those people elected this year.
But am I hearing you back off of one of the messages that we had heard before from your campaign, which is that Donald Trump is a big threat to the environment, which is what I believe that your campaign has as a core tenet?
No, Donald Trump has implemented policies that are extremely harmful to our efforts to address climate change. He's announced he's pulling out of the Paris Climate Change Agreement. He's proposed removing and pulling back from many regulations that would address climate change. He's not really proposed anything significantly positive on this issue. So no, his record on climate change has been terrible, but we are still registering voters in this election on a nonpartisan basis.
Well, the campaign kickoff was last week at Texas Southern University. Where else is the former vice president planning on going, and what's the significance behind these locations?
Well, he has trips coming up in the near future to the University of Las Vegas, in Nevada, University of Pittsburgh, University of Michigan. We're really working in states that really have two key characteristics. One is they're at the center of the climate change. Of the climate crisis, really, because of the impact climate change will have on them. These include states like Florida and Texas. We're also working on states that it's really critical to build public support for addressing climate change. Those states include Pennsylvania, Michigan, North Carolina, Wisconsin. So we'll be working in 6 or 7 key states around the country to build support for this issue.
Other environmental organizations like the Sunrise Movement are forming similar voter registration campaigns based on climate change awareness. What do you think is really different about your campaign, or something that you think you can accomplish that others haven't?
Well, what we think we can accomplish is that we also have a great deal of experience working on college campuses. We're going to make a major effort on that. We've got a major inspirational leader to college students in Vice President Gore. But above all, we think that as many groups as possible should be involved in registering college voters. We have to register many, many millions of voters for this election. We have to get turnout of many, many millions of college students in this election. So we welcome the work of the Sunrise Movement. We welcome the work of Next Gen. We think we can add a useful and important element to that effort.
Ken Berlin, thank you.
Thank you very much.